Jaehee, Wine's younger sister, sat on the velvet couch in the luxurious living room, her legs elegantly crossed, flaunting herself like she owned the place. She wore a tight, wine red silk dress, dangerously low at the front, with a slit that revealed too much with every moment. The way she dressed screamed seductive villain, bold, deliberate, and dripping with arrogance. Her long jet black hair cascaded down her shoulders in soft waves, perfectly styled, while her glossy lips curled in a flirty smile as she giggled on a video call. Baby, just wait a little longer, okay? Once this wedding crab is over, I'll be yours. We will disappear and no one can stop us. Suddenly, the front door slammed open with a deafening thud. Jihi jumped, panic flashing across her face as she scrambled to hang up the call. Her heart thudded in her chest as she quickly tossed her phone behind a cushion, her eyes darting to the source of the sound. Jungkook had entered. Towering, merciless, drenched in rain and blood. He stood there like a shadow from hell, black boots, soaked, dark cargo pants clinging to his strong legs, a plain black tee stretched over his broad chest, leather jacket dripping much. His face was emotionless, cruel over his brow still bleeding, a fresh graze on his jawline. His dark eyes, sharp as blades, scanned the room like he could kill with a glance. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to. Jungkook, oh my god, what happened? She threw herself into his arms, but he didn't even blink. He didn't return the hug. His body stood still and cold like marble. After a long second, he peeled her arms off him with slow disdain and walked to the couch, his boots leaving wet prints behind. She followed like a shadow, sitting beside him with a dramatic sigh. You are always getting into trouble. Can't you let someone else take the fall for once? He said nothing. Instead, he reached into his inner jacket pocket. When his hand came out, it was slick with blood. She gasped audibly. Chunku, you are bleeding so much. Let me help you, please. She reached for his hand, but he pulled it away and gave her a dark, amused smile. I can do it myself. He grabbed a clean cloth from the drawer and started cleaning his hand with slow, practiced movements. So, you're here for something or just pretending to care? Jehi blinked, catch for a second, but then her lips curled into a charming, manipulative smile. You know me too well. I want something. There is a diamond necklace, a rare one, just came into the market today. Only one piece. I want it before anyone else gets it. Before she could finish, Jungkook reached to the side drawer again, pulled out a thick stack of cash, and threw it into her lap without a word. She squealed in delight, hugging the bundle like it was treasure. "Aw, thanks, Cookie. You always know how to satisfy me." She leaned forward, pressed a kiss to the cash, then leaned into him and hugged him again. Her perfume too strong, her presence unwanted. He didn't return the hug. He didn't even move. Just sat there bandaging his wound like she didn't exist. Anyway, I have some errands. You rest and peace. Stay out of too much trouble. She rolled her eyes dramatically and stirred out of the room with a sway in her hips. The door clicked shut. Then came the smell, cold and cruel, curling at the corner of Jungkook's mouth as he tied the bandage tight around his hand. His phone vibrated on the table. He picked it up and pressed speaker. Boss, we have got everything. Talk. The guy she's been calling is a low level thug from Busan. Small time gang. They have been planning to run away on your wedding night. She thinks you will be too distracted to notice. She's meeting him tonight, 11 p.m., Old Warehouse by the docks. Jungkook stayed silent for a few seconds. His fingers tightened the last knot on the bandage. Then he chuckled. Low, I see, ladle. Let them go, sir. Let her think she got away with it. Let him think he won. He stood up, towering and dangerous, slipping his gun back into the holster beneath his jacket. And then make sure they both understand what happens when you play with the drunk devil. It was exactly 1 week left before Jaehee's wedding to Jungkook. Though the engagement had been finalized by Jungkook's father, a decision made more out of power and family alliances than affection. Jaehee had agreed all too quickly, not because she loved him, not because she respected him, but because he was filthy rich, untouchable, and a name that made others bow. She had a boyfriend, everyone would think she was mad for cheating on Jungkook, but Jaehee didn't care. She wanted money, luxury, and the kind of lifestyle she could post about online. Jungkook, to her, was a ticket, a shortcut. Inside the house, one sat cross-legged on the couch, wearing a shorts and a sleeveless shirt. Her legs tucked under her, her messy bun bounced slightly as she chewed on chocolate wafers while scribbling notes into her college notebook. Glasses perched on her nose, an absent smile on her lips. She looked like peace, soft, sweet, untouched by the chaos outside. Jaehee was out, probably with her so called cousin, who was definitely no cousin. Their father was busy at the company handling contracts. Her mother had gone to visit her grandmother, who was unwell. It was quiet, too quiet. And then, knock knock. Wine blinked, startled, and placed her notebook aside. She walked to the door, still munching on her snack. When she opened the door, her heart nearly dropped. Jungkook, all black again, always black. A fitted shirt that hugged his sculpted chest, silver chain around his neck, and his tattooed hand gripping the door frame. His face emotionless, but his dark eyes intense, unreadable, dangerous. No one is at home. Her voice trembled slightly without meaning to. He always made her nervous, not because ever hurt her, but because his presence was so overwhelming, so sharp, so commanding. The type of man who made the air shift when he walked in. Oh, then I am standing in front of a ghost. No, I mean, no one's inside the house except me. Then move aside, I'm coming in. He didn't wait for permission. He brushed past her, the scent of expensive cologne and blood lingering faintly on him. She stepped back, heart racing. He made himself comfortable on the couch, tossing his keys on the table. Do you want something? Juice? Bring whatever, I'm not picky. She gulped and quickly went to the kitchen. Trying to stay calm, she returned with a glass of chilled juice and a small bowl of snacks. Placing them in front of him carefully, he didn't thank her. But his eyes followed her, not in a way that felt flirtatious, more like he was reading her, watching, observing. She didn't speak, just excused herself and rushed upstairs to change. She had realized too late she was wearing shorts and a sleeveless shirt. Normally, she didn't care much at home, but with him there, it suddenly felt wrong to expose to inappropriate. She changed into a full length cotton dress and returned to the living room, pretending like she had not noticed his gaze. She picked up her notebook and continued studying, her pen trembling slightly from nerves, but she kept her expression neutral until, I wonder if you're just like your sister. Meaning, pretty face, cheap goals, wallet chasers, both of you. Her pen froze mid sentence. And I wonder if your tongue always drips with poison or if you save that specially for girls who don't flirt with you. His eyes slowly lifted to hers, surprised, a little amused. Sharp, you practiced that in the mirror. No, I have just learned to bite back when people mistake silence for stupidity. He tilted his head, studying her like a puzzle. The smile that tugged at his lips wasn't warm, it was mocking. So, you are not a gold digger. I would rather be a brat with dignity than a liar with a gun. That caught his attention. His mouth faltered for just a second. Her eyes were wide, scared but not blinking. She held his gaze, even though her heartbeat was loud in her ears. You are brave. No, just tired of people stepping on me and thinking I'll stay quiet. A long silence stretched between them. He looked away first, chuckling under his breath. And here I thought you were just some soft, naive girl with pink snacks and unicorn pens. I am soft, but that doesn't mean I won't burn when pushed. He leaned back on the couch, sipping the juice she brought, his gaze unreadable now, not cold, not warm, just interested. You are different. She went back to writing, not saying a word, but she could feel it. His eyes were still on her, just as Wine finished scribbling her final equation, Jungkook shifting on the couch beside her. Without warning, he leaned in close, too close. His shoulder brushed hers. His deep, low voice dropped near her ear, laced with a mocking taunt. You sure you're not pretending all this fire just to catch a rich man's eye? Her blood boiled. You think everyone wants your money, Joan? Maybe your fiance does, but not me. Her glare could cut glass. If looks could kill, Choguk would have burned alive right then. But he didn't back off. In fact, he looked intrigued. If he had been Jaehi sitting here instead of Wine, she would have laughed. Maybe even touched his chest and purred in her sugary voice. You cried me cookie, but not wine. And just then, bang. The front door flung open and in came Jaehi, her heels clacking against the floor, her lips stretched in a fake smile. A boy trailed behind her looking nervous. The smile faltered the moment she saw Jungkook and Wine on the couch, sitting too close to her liking. Without thinking, she stormed forward and slapped Wine hard across the cheek. The sound echoed before Wine could even react. Her father, Mr. Kim, stepped in through the open door. His briefcase still in hand, he stopped eyes wide. What's going on here? Jihi pointed a trembling, accusing finger at Wine. She was trying to seduce my fiance. I saw them. They were about to kiss. She was leaning in like a little snake. Wine blinked, stunned, her cheeks stung, but her voice was like still. Already, that's rich coming from someone who has a boyfriend on the side and still wants to marry for money. Jungkook remained seated, calm like a lion surveying chaos in his jungle. He crossed one leg over the other, sipping juice as if none of it concerned him. This is getting interesting. The boy Jaehee had brought tried to slip out, but before he could escape, one of Jungkook's guards, tall and stone-faced, grabbed him by the collar and held him in place. The boy panicked, Jaehee froze. Let him go, he's my cousin. Save the lies, Jaehee, even your fake affection is embarrassing. Mr. Kim stared at his daughters in disbelief. Wine, is it true? Did something happen between you two? Wine's lips parted, eyes wet now, voice stuck in her throat. She looked at Jungkook, who was still lounging, but something flickered in his eyes when he saw her tears. Then slowly he stood. His height, his aura, his dominance. Everything filled the room like thunderclouds. He walked toward Jaehee. Jungkook, no, listen, he didn't. He grabbed her hand. Jungkook, wait, what are you? With one swift motion, he yanked off the engagement ring. She nearly screamed from the pain. You don't deserve to wear my name on your finger. He held up the ring, turned it in his hand with a small smirk. Then, looking at Mr. Kim, he said coldly, Mr. Kim, I'm calling off this engagement. I don't deal with liars or gold diggers. Everyone froze, but I will say this, I'm still interested in a marriage alliance, just not with Jahi. He turned his gaze to Wine, a slow, infuriating smirk spread across his lips as he looked her up and down. Your second daughter, she's more appealing, real, and brave. I like that. I would like to marry her instead. Wine's eyes widened. No, Dad, I'm not. As you say, my son. Wine turned to her father, shocked. Her voice was small. How could you? Mr. Kim looked away, pretending to busy himself with his watch. Jihi's lip trembled. She was livid. The rich, powerful fiance was now slipping through her fingers and into Wine's. I won't let you take him. She lunged at Wine, had rise to strike again, only to be blocked. Slap. Chunguk slapped Jihi across the face, his eyes flaming with rage. Don't you dare lay a finger on my fiance. But don't you love me? He laughed, but it wasn't kind. Love you. I wouldn't even hire you to wipe my floor. Her sobs filled the room. He turned to Wine, took her hand, and before she could react, slipped the engagement ring onto her finger. Take your future bride. I'll see you on the wedding day. Wine yanked her hand away, glaring, but he just winked and walked off with the confidence of a man who always gets what he wants. One rolled her eyes hard and stormed out of the room, ring still glittering on her finger like a cursed jewel. The wedding march played softly in the background, echoing across the lavishly decorated hall. White roses framed the aisle, golden lights sparkled above, and every eye was on you, the bride. You walked slowly, holding onto your father's arm, your heart thudding so hard you could bravely breathe. You dressed a soft ivory lace gown with long sleeves and delicate pearl detailing flowed elegantly behind you. The train trailing like mist, a thin veil covered your face, and your messy bun had been transformed into an elegant low twist. Beside you, your father sniffled, his eyes moist. Please forgive me, daughter. I know I forced you, but I also know him. He's a man of his word. He may be cold, but he will protect what's his. And now that's you. You blinked away your own tears and looked up, only to see him. Jungkook stood tall at the altar, dressed in a classic black tuxedo with a velvet lapel and a deep burgundy tie. His jet black hair was brushed neatly back, a single strand falling effortlessly over his forehead. He looked like royalty. His cold spirit was still there, but his eyes were darker, focused only on you. He tilted his head slightly as you approached, gaze dripping slowly down your frame. You could feel the weight of it even through layers of silk and lace. Just loud enough for you to hear. Not bad, wifey, you clean up well. You frowned slightly but said nothing. Standing in front of him as the ceremony began, the priest recited the vows. You repeated them with a trembling voice, while Jungkook said his with ease, like this was just another business deal. Finally, the priest smiled. You may now kiss the bride. Your eyes widened. You took a shaky step back and shook your head slightly at him, lips parting in panic. No. Chunguk paused, his mouth softened just a flicker. He saw the nervousness in your eyes, the way you clutched your fingers, the way your lips trembled. He stepped forward slowly. You panicked until you felt his soft, warm lips press gently against your forehead. Nothing more, just a quiet, respectful touch. A gesture that said, I see you, I hear you, I won't push. Your chest ached, confused by the strange gentleness from a man who mocked and smirked at you just days ago. Applause filled the room, cameras clicked, the wedding was over. That evening, the car pulled into the driveway of his massive modern mansion. Black gates, marble floors, crystal chandeliers. You stepped in, still holding the hem of your gown as you looked around nervously. He walked ahead of you and dropped onto the living room couch, pulling off his blazer, tossing it aside like he didn't just marry someone. Then he looked at you and smirked. So, how's the house, wifey? He leaned back, one arm stretched along the backrest, eyes slowly scanning your figure, now in a simpler, white after party dress. You stared at him. Don't call me that. But are not you signed, sealed, and delivered? And that ring on your finger says you belong here now. You rolled your eyes and turned away. You turned your back to him, tired and aching from the long wedding day, when his next word sliced through the silence like a knife. This is my mansion. No one moves without my permission. You froze mid step. Excuse me? No maid is here but you. You will clean, you will cook, you will handle every chore in this house. That's what you are here for. Your jaw clenched. So rich and you can't even afford a maid. The second your words landed, you saw it. The flicker of rage in his eyes. He stood up, walked to a nearby drawer, and pulled out a thick bundle of cash. He held it out toward you, the paper crisp and thick between his fingers. Here, just like your sister, right? Take it. That's what girls like you want. Gold diggers, spreading their legs for a price. The words hit you like a slap. But you didn't flinch, you slapped him first. The sound echoed in the luxurious silence. His head jerked slightly to the side, your palm print reddening on his cheek. His eyes widened, not with pain but with disbelief. No one had dared touch Jungkook before. You threw the bundle of money straight at his face. The notes exploded in the air like wordless confetti, fluttering to the ground between you. Keep your dirty money and your dirtier mouth to yourself. Without waiting for his reaction, you stormed out of the living room, up the massive stairs, and flung yourself into the first room you could find. You slammed the door shut and locked it, your back pressed to the cool wood. You're just having, oh God, what have I gotten myself into? You glanced around. The room was dimly lit but elegant, massive king-sized bed, soft velvet curtains, and warm lighting glowing under the ceiling. The closet stood open, revealing rows and rows of perfectly arranged cloths, your clothes. Everything was your exact size. How the hell did he know my size? You noticed the other side of the wardrobe, his clothes, suits, watches, ties. This is his room. You roll your eyes in frustration, grabbed a towel, and walked into the bathroom. You needed a moment, just one moment to breathe. The water was hot and calming, the only thing that made sense in your world right now. You scrubbed your skin like you were trying to wash off the whole day. You finally stepped out in a silk robe, your hair damp and sticking to your neck, and then you screamed. Because he was sitting casually on the edge of the bed, hands behind his head, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Enjoying the shower alone, huh? How did you get in here? You rushed to the door and checked the lock. It was still locked. It's my mansion, wifey, and more than that, it's my room. You forgot? You stared at him, chest rising and falling, soaked hair dripping onto the carpet. Get out. Why? You're my wife now. Don't wives share rooms with their husbands? He smirked again, relaxed, arrogant, absolutely shameless. But something about his eyes, they were not just cold. They were unreadable, like he was daring you to challenge him to test his limits. Your fists clenched. If you were not so rich, I would throw you out of your own window. He chuckled slowly, not threatened one bit. Keep talking like that, and you might just make me like you. You came out of the bathroom wearing a comfy oversized t shirt and pajama shorts, still drying your damp hair with a towel. You walked straight to the bed, grabbed a pillow and one of the thick blankets. He was lounging there, shirtless now, only in sweats, scrolling through something on his phone as if he had not just been slapped an hour ago. As you turned around with the pillow, a strong tug made you freeze mid step. He had grabbed the edge of the blanket. You're disgusting. And you are cute when you are angry. Now drop the blanket and sleep here. Not even in your dreams. Oh, that's strange because last night you were definitely in mine. I would rather sleep on broken glass than share a bed with a narcissist. Suit yourself, but it's a king sized mattress, not like I'll bite unless provoked. You roll your eyes for the hundredth time that night, but your legs were exhausted, your body aching from the long wedding events. With a loud sigh, you muttered curses under your breath and dropped the pillow back on the bed. Great, trapped in a luxury prison. A prison with silk sheets and a sexy jailer. The jailer should choke on his own ego only if his prisoner helps him. You scolded, got on your side of the bed, and dramatically turned away from him. He stood up wordlessly and walked into the bathroom. You grabbed your phone and began scrolling, trying to distract yourself from the surreal disaster your life had become. You didn't even realize he had returned until you felt the tip of the mattress. Then the phone was snatched from your hand in one smooth motion. Give it back. No, sleep, it's late and you are tired. You barely sat down today. You don't get to tell me what to do. Maybe not, but I still know you are exhausted. You paused. Why did he sound calm? You blinked at him. His hair was wet, sticking slightly to his forehead. He smelled faintly of expensive body wash. He wasn't smirking now, just laying there, looking at the ceiling like a normal guy. You shook your head and turned to your side, facing away from him. Unbelievable. He smiled at the ceiling. Maybe I just found the one I have been waiting for. You didn't hear him, you were already drifting off to sleep, unaware that for the first time since the accident that scared him. Jungkook had closed his eyes beside someone and felt peace. Time skip, same night, 3 a.m. The dim basement reeked of blood, sweat, and fear. The only sound echoing through the thick cement walls was the raw scream of a girl, desperate and aching. Jehi thrashed against the ropes, binding her to the metal chair, her wrists already bruised, mascara streaked down her tear soaked face. Next to her, the boy she once proudly called her boyfriend sat frozen in terror. His legs were trembling and his voice had gone hoarse from begging. In front of them, a figure loomed in silence, bathed in the golden figure of a single hanging bulb. Jungkook, no longer in his soft grey sweats, no longer your mysterious husband with sharp smirks. He was different now. Dressed in black from head to toe, gloves stained with red, sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing inked veins and muscle. He stood calmly cleaning a blade with a white cloth like he was polishing a dinner knife. His face was unreadable, but his eyes, those dark, storm filled eyes, held no mercy. He slapped my wife in front of me. Chihi shook her head, crying. I didn't mean to. I was angry. I was scared. And I am not angry. He whimpered as he bent down and gripped her jaw, forcing her to look at him. I gave you everything, and you laid your filthy hand on what's mine. He let her go with a rough shove, causing her chair to creak dangerously. Her boyfriend, if he even deserved that title, stammered in panic. Please, I didn't even know she was engaged. I don't even care about her. Just let me go. Jungkook slowly turned his head toward him. He walked forward, crouched, and tilted his head like a predator playing with prey. That's the only thing you said right tonight. He stood up, stretching his back like he was getting ready for something intense. I don't care for your pleas. This isn't for revenge. It's to send a message. Jungkook, please. I was jealous. I messed up, but don't hurt him. I'll do anything, just don't. You already did everything. You touched her. He pulled on his gloves tighter, and the cold steel of the knife catched the light. Then he smiled, cruel and slow. And now you'll see what it means when someone touches what I own. The air grew thicker, the silence more dangerous, and as their screams echoed again into the night, Jungkook's voice echoed even louder in his mind, a whisper meant only for himself. No one hurts her, no one touches her, she's mine, and I'll burn the world to protect what's mine.